Oh, yeah! You know what time it is. That's right, it's time for the Eddie and Webby Podcast! Yo, I'ma bust out some theme song action for you. Check it out. The Eddie and Webby Show is the place to be. They're talking about beer and pickleball and technology. So if you didn't know, now you know. 'Cause it's time for the Eddie and Webby Show.
On today's episode, Eddie and Webby show how to remove those pesky stains. This is the Eddie and Webby Podcast.
So, Eddie, you do realize it was a total fluke that you beat me in our match at Dink for Pink, right? Of course I know that, Webby. Everybody knows that. It's obvious that you are the superior player when it comes to pickleball. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 30th podcast.
Oh, yeah, episode number 30. I can't believe it. This is kind of a huge milestone. Episode 30? What?
Yes, episode 30. Here we are. I can't believe it as well. I mean, you know, we got 1 through 29. Now we're here. And like always, we have a great show in store for you guys today.
We do.
We have a special guest. We have a nice beer to talk about. And just so you guys know, we are live on Facebook from the Eddie and Webby page. We are live on Facebook from the Pickleball Forum page. We are live on YouTube. And we are live on Twitch. So come check us out. This is meant to be interactive. We want to talk with you. So throw some stuff in the chats there.
Yes, indeed. Please do so.
Yeah. So before we get to our special guest today, I know, Webby, you wanna talk about something, huh?
I do. So, as most people know, Eddie and myself, we participated in an event called Dink for Pink not too long ago. It was a very fun event, had a lot of very fun matches, and I had a very fun match with Maggie Raminzi, and it was a real good time. During the match, though, there was an around the post shot, and none of us really knew if it was in or out. The opposing team thought it was in. We didn't have a good view of it, so we counted it in, and they got the point, and we moved on with our lives. But our good friend Kenny Chou, who we met at Dink for Pink, he recently kind of stirred up some controversy on social media recently. He posted a video onto the Pickleball Forum, and he had a comment that says, "You make the call. Is this ATP in or out?" And a lot of people had mixed comments whether it was in or out. So I thought it'd be good if you go ahead and play the video clip in question from Kenny Chou. Let's see that again in ultra slow motion here. And if we can freeze it, it's very hard to tell. And if you look at my line of sight, I really don't have a good view of it. At the point of contact, I really could not tell whether it was in or out. And as you can see by this video footage, it's a pretty poor frame rate and not the greatest of angles. All I can see is a blur near that line. I feel like it's impossible to tell if it was in or out. But that didn't stop people on Facebook, on the Pickleball Forum, from chiming in with their opinions, whether it was in or out. A lot of people thought it was out. A lot of people thought it was in. A lot of people said pretty much what we did at the time. If it's too hard to tell, you got to count it in, especially if the opposing team thought it was in. So, but I got to tell you, I recorded the game too, and I had a different angle, and my angle shows conclusive results. So just stay tuned. We're not going to play it quite yet, but we will play my angle of the shot, and we'll determine if it was in or out. Anybody watching right now, feel free to chime in and let us know, what do you think? Was that in or out?
Yes. Can't wait to see that video later for the inconclusive evidence on it. Yeah.
Inconclusive? It's actually conclusive, my friend, not inconclusive.
That's added to the list of things that Eddie has to make up for, right? To make right. Conclusive.
That's right.
Evidence. Yes.
There we go.
Yes. Well, what do we say we introduce our guests here today?
All right. Why don't we do that by now? But yeah, I mean, we've had so many great guests on this show, and today is no exception at all. I am very excited about today's guest. She is extremely passionate about pickleball, so much so that she actually quit her day job to focus on pickleball. She's a great tournament player. She's a great coach, and she's frequently traveling all over the place teaching people how to improve their pickleball skills. And she's just an overall great ambassador for the sport of pickleball. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome to the show KaSandra Gehrke. KaSandra, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. It's our pleasure. That's awesome that you were able to join us here tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for being here with us. And I feel like we should start off with a question that's pretty much on everybody's mind. It's a question that we love to ask all of our guests, and that is, what is your favorite color?
Well, that's a tough one. My favorite color would have to be pink.
All right.
That's a very good choice.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, a question we like to ask everybody, one of the first questions is, how long have you been playing pickleball, and how did you first get introduced to the game?
So I've been playing pickleball for about 5 years. I'm coming up on the 3rd year mark here in a little bit. And I actually was introduced to it in high school. However, we had plastic paddles, and they were horrible. The ball flung off them, and we all just couldn't even control the ball. It was such a mess. So I wouldn't count that as my first time. I was actually at my athletic club working out and shooting hoops, kind of a basketball player as well. And the team or group that needed an extra player asked me to come over and play. And I played once and was super hooked. I think I ordered my paddle within the next few days after that. So that's how I got started.
That's cool. Yeah, it's funny. I hear about people that, I was introduced to pickleball in middle school in gym class or in high school. I never got a chance to play. I'm actually kind of jealous because I think it would have been awesome to be introduced to the sport so much earlier. And even though you said it was, with kind of crappy equipment, at least when you played it, when you were older, you probably had a little feel for it, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's such a growing sport now. I almost want to contact your FIAD teacher and make sure they get it in their program now, because it's nice to, be introduced to it, because then kids know kind of what's going on. If someone asks you to play, you're like, oh yeah, I've heard of that, or I've played that before. So, yeah.
Yeah, and one thing, talking about contacting the phys ed teacher, I told my daughters I want to talk to their phys ed teacher about getting pickleball. Excuse me, got a little frog in the throat here. Eddie, take it away.
So what he was trying to say was, we'll come back to that question here in 1 second. How you doing now? Are your pipes cleaned out there?
All right, I think I'm good. But yeah, I thought live TV, folks, live TV. But I told my daughters I was going to tell their phys ed teacher about pickleball and demand that they offer it, and they would not let me do it. They were super embarrassed. They said, "No, Dad, you can't do that. You can't do that." But actually, come to find out, they do play pickleball at their school, so I didn't even need to do that.
That's awesome.
So that's good to hear. Yeah.
Yes. So one of the things we like to be able to do is, talk a little bit about beer here, and then kind of get into it with our guests when we're talking about pickleball. So are you thirsty at all, Kas?
I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm always thirsty when it comes to beer.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we are going to do a nice little beer review together. Webby, what beer is it that we're drinking here today?
Well, it's funny you asked that because I actually do have a beer right here with me. And this beer comes from Bell's Brewery, and it is called Christmas Ale. We are very festive with today's beer. 'Tis the season for a nice Christmas ale.
Nice. Yes, as Webby mentioned, this is Christmas Ale from Bell's Brewery. Usually I talk a little bit about the brewery before we get into it, but this is what the third Bell's beer we've done, maybe the fourth. I know the very first episode we did Oberon, then we did Two Hearted. So we're not going to talk too much about Bell's, but I would like to share the description of the beer according to the Bell's website. And that is, this traditional Scotch ale is rich and malty with notes of caramel and a warm finish, certain to make any occasion festive, or at least a bit more bearable. Enjoy with the company of friends and family. Nice description. It kind of paints the picture for you of where you'd want to drink this at different holiday events. This comes in at 7.5% ABV. It has undisclosed IBUs, so we don't know how bitter it's going to be until we taste it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But we go ahead and crack the tops, and I'm going to go ahead and pour it in my little glass here.
All right. And while you guys pour, I'm going to go ahead and read a couple Facebook comments that we got here. We got one here from Scott Golden. He says, "What up, guys? Love me some Kas. She's my girl."
That's awesome.
We've got one here from Katie McGee. "That's my girl, Kas. FSU 2019.
Yeah, baby.
Jim Coleman says, "Hey." We've got
Hi, Jim.
Wendy Maddie says, "That's my girl. Love, Mom."
Yep, my mom had to join those, so I actually just tagged her so she knew where to find the video. So I'm glad she made it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool that your mom's watching.
And our good friend Blair Kermeans, he's watching as well. He wanted to say,
Blair?
"Hey, what's up?"
Hey, Blair.
Looks like we got Ethan Pacheco watching here on YouTube. Says he hears a little bit of an echo, so I want to ask that question to you guys. Do you guys hear an echo at all out there in live stream land? If so, let us know, because I'll see if I can't figure out what's going on.
Blair also asked how Eddie and Anthony did in Florida, and I believe you're going to get to that a little bit later. Is that right?
I am going to get to that in a little bit. Absolutely.
Very nice. And we got a question from Matt Loria, but I'm gonna wait a little bit till we get a little further into this review before I get to Matt Loria's question.
Okay. Well, Webby and I talked, and we thought we were going to scale down these reviews a little bit. We probably got a little bit too nerdy into them in the past, so we're going to go through them a little bit faster and just kind of get right into the meat of what you want in a good, solid beer review. And I think the first thing to do is just smell it. Just get your nose in there and sense all that's going on. Very nice. I like it. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely getting it's very caramely, right? I know in the description they talked about that. It definitely has a ton of caramel, and I'm not getting a ton of bitterness, but I wouldn't expect a Christmas ale to be a very, hop forward beer, but it's a very pleasant aroma.
Yeah, pleasant aroma. I'm getting a hint of the caramel. Surprisingly, it doesn't smell as Christmassy as I thought it would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's
like when
the
I
thing,
think
right?
Christmas, I think pine trees and stuff like that.
And then sometimes you'll get a lot of these Christmas beers that are like, like nutmeg and cinnamon spices and things like that. So, Kas, what about you? Are you getting anything else in the aroma?
Yeah, I can smell the hint of caramel in it, and I prefer non-bitter, so I don't smell the bitterness of this, which is exciting. So I'm going to taste it.
Well, cool. Well, let's move on to the flavor then, the best part.
Don't mind if I do.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Webby, how long did you let yours sit out for?
I would say about 7.5 minutes.
Okay. I pulled mine out about an hour and a half ago because I wanted it to be nice and warm so I could get the full effect of it. But it's good. This is a very, very pleasant Christmas beer. Like I said, sometimes there's certain Christmas beers or holiday beers where I'm a little weary about them because I feel like they kind of overdo it, right? That's the whole point of Christmas and the holidays is everybody overdoes it with eating and getting presents, and it's this kind of intense process. But this is much more balanced than I was expecting in the flavor.
Yeah, same here. I like when you look at the bottle has pictures of Christmas trees on it. And I've had Christmas ales that are very like piney and hoppy, and it kind of tasted like you were drinking a Christmas tree, which isn't always a good thing. But yeah, this is very subtle, very smooth, and I'm liking it.
Nice. Cass, you mentioned that you're not a big fan. You mentioned you're not a big fan of bitterness. Do you feel like this one is too bitter for you? Is it kind of right in line with what you like?
No, I think this is like right in line with what I would drink. If it was any more bitter than this, I'm not sure I would enjoy it as much. But I think you guys are right. They hit it pretty well for a Christmas beer where I'm not into the peppermint and the mint and the like real intense flavor. You can smell the caramel, obviously, when you smell it, and you can just taste a little bit of it. But I think they did a good job with balancing the two for this one. I would buy this one again.
Nice. And I do want to give a quick thank you to Wendy, Jim, and Michael, because they all said that they do not hear an echo and things are sounding good on their end. So thank you guys for verifying that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Troy Miller says, I joined late. Any beer left for me? Yeah, come on over.
Sorry, Troy.
I do have an extra bottle, so go ahead. Yeah, Troy, come on over. If you can be here in the next 30 minutes, it's yours.
That's awesome. Overall impressions of this beer. I mean, I definitely would buy this again. It's a very well-balanced beer. There's nothing that's overly intense about it, but there's also nothing that's overly intense about it, right? So it's not one of those beers that you're like, oh my God, I need to have this again. But it's also one that I could see myself enjoying a few of these on Christmas or, this time of year when it's a little bit cooler out. I think I would definitely get this again. What about you, Webby? What do you say?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I would absolutely buy it again. It's a Scotch ale, and I'm not typically a huge fan of Scotch ales because I'm not a big Scotch drinker, and some of them are a little bit too strong for my liking. But this is nice and smooth, just a nice hint of Scotch in a good way, and I'm really liking it. I would definitely get this again.
Nice. Cass, you feel the same way?
Yeah, I would. I'm in. Yeah, I think it's a good nice. I wouldn't drink this all year long, like as my main beer. But with the seasonal changing and things like that, and having a Christmas ale, this is one I would bring to the Christmas party.
That's great that all three of us are pretty much in alignment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like this definitely gets the Eddie and Webby stamp of approval. But Cass brought up a good point about how it's not something I would drink year round. I definitely would not want to drink this on a hot sunny day. This is a good seasonal beer, good to get a few times a year in the winter. Definitely.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get to the question that Matt Loria has for Cass. Matt says, if Cass had to choose Wisconsin beer over Wisconsin cheese, what would she choose?
Well, that's a tough one. I love cheese. I eat every single day. The Wisconsin beer, though, if we're looking at, New Glarus Spotted Cow, I would have to, since I'm from Wisconsin, go with the beer. I would much rather have a beer at a football game. I would give up my cheese. It's sad to hear me say that, but I would take the beer over the cheese when it comes to hanging out in Wisconsin.
Nice.
That's cool. Beer over cheese. Yeah, I'd probably have to do the same for sure. We had
Yeah.
a New Glarus beer last episode. We had the what was it? Two Women by New Glarus. So really cool brew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was actually sent
Yeah.
to us by Matt Loria, who asked us that question. So thanks again for the participation, Matt. Matt has always been a great friend of the show.
Yeah, we already thanked you for the beer, Matt. You don't have to keep bringing it up, so we keep thanking
Right?
you. Jeez, gosh.
I feel like he feels
on,
the need
Matt.
to get brought up in every single episode, so he does something nice that makes us thank him even more. Haven't we thanked you
gosh.
enough?
Stop being so nice, Matt. Jeez.
I know. Gosh.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Wisconsin,
Wendy-
go ahead.
I was going to say, Wendy Maddie says, KaSandra, buy a 6-pack for Clyde for Christmas.
Oh, okay. So obviously Wendy's my mom, so and Clyde's my stepdad, and he's really big into different types of beer. He'd be like perfect for this episode. So yeah, maybe I'll have to bring home some Christmas ale for Clyde. Good idea.
But she also says, sign the bottle, LOL. And sign the
Oh
bottle.
my goodness. Only mom. Only
Yeah.
mom.
That's cool.
And Troy Miller says, come to Rally, plenty of great craft beers here.
Oh, awesome. I'm there. I'm coming.
Let's do it. So you mentioned you're originally from Wisconsin, right?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes,
And,
I'm from Marshall, Wisconsin, which is, a little town outside of Madison. We maybe had about 3,000 people in the town and graduating class of maybe like 95 kids. So fairly small, but it was a nice, safe town and great athletics program. So I enjoyed it.
that's cool. How far outside of Madison is that?
I would say 20 miles or so, 25 miles. Not too bad. Yeah.
My wife and I we did a weekend in Madison one time and just fell in love with that city. It was so cool. All the different bars and restaurants and the sightseeing, like the whole city, and it was clean and neat. Just such a cool experience going there.
Yeah, Madison's a great city, especially to visit if you've never been there. Hopefully you got the chance to go downtown and check out the scenery down there and walk around by the Capitol and stuff. It's pretty awesome.
I thought it was cool
Lots
that
to do.
every street kind of faces towards that Capitol building, and it had the lights on it and everything. Like it was just a really pretty city.
Yeah, it's really pretty. I mean, the thing that I'm noticing about Missouri, being out of Wisconsin is Wisconsin. There's a bar on every corner, and I come here, and it's like, we have a Friday night fish fry in Wisconsin and old fashions on Friday nights, and my boyfriend Jared, who lives here, hey, any fish fries? And he's like, what? What are you talking about? And I'm like, what about old fashioned Friday? What is going on here? And shake of the day at the bar and shaky for shots. Now I sound like I drink a lot. It's like it's just a Wisconsin thing, and I kind of take it for granted. I go somewhere else and I'm like, wait, what? You don't have this? This is like totally normal for Wisconsin.
Right. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, I'm in Michigan. We have the Fish Fridays as well. So yeah, I would miss the Fish
Okay,
Fridays.
awesome.
I love a good fish and chips.
That's a big Catholic
Amen.
thing, right? For Lent to eat fish on Friday, right?
It is. Yep.
Yep. That's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
so
all
how
the,
long
all
ago
the
did
nearby
you?
Catholic churches will have it.
Yeah. How long ago did you move to Missouri then?
It's been about a month, I would say, since I've been in Missouri. I kind of stayed for extended periods of time, and then slowly kind of moved my stuff as I go. I travel so much, so it was kind of like, oh wait, I guess I live here now, because I'm always all over the place. So yeah, it's been about a month.
Okay. Nice. Outside of a
Well, we've got a couple. We got a couple of questions on Facebook here. They're pickleball related questions here. We've got one from Ted Bryson. He says, "How are the workout ladder get-togethers going?"
Is that
Do you
is
know
that
what
for
he's
me?
talking about?
Workout?
I'm not sure. I think he's talking to you. Are you familiar with any workout ladder get-togethers?
The only thing I can think of is we did a little video for Cardio Pickleball where we had ladders where we're doing a lot of workouts and stuff. So if that's what you're talking about,
Yeah, let's go with
the
that.
only thing that's coming to mind right now. Let's roll with that. So I just moved here, and Jared, my boyfriend, he's a college tennis coach here for Drury University and does a lot of pickleball teaching here as well. And he's like, hey, I'm teaching cardio pickleball. And I'm like, cardio pickleball? What is that? He's like, well, it's a mix of, workouts and pickleball drills. And I was like, that sounds awesome. So I did my first class, a few weeks ago. And it's a nice mix of pickleball drills and then kind of weight-bearing exercises and stations, where you're doing squats, for a minute, you rotate to the next station, then you're jump roping, and then the next station is him at the station feeding balls into different drills, and it's an hour long, and it's a great way to, get your workout on, get your heart rate up, and play pickleball at the same time. So it's been a pretty big hit here. We're full every Friday morning when we run this class. So it's been a blast.
That actually sounds really
cool. And Ted
cool.
did confirm that is what Ted was talking about. So thanks for the question,
awesome.
Ted.
I don't sound crazy.
we got a couple comments from the infamous Scott Lippitz. He's very outspoken in the pickleball forum, and he said this is very interesting, but he followed it by ... So I feel like that's a little on the condescending side, probably. But I feel like that's usually what Scott goes for from what I've seen in the past. But also, he said
I haven't
all the
had
single
the
guys.
pleasure of meeting him yet.
He also said all the single guys just left the webcast. I'm assuming that was when you mentioned that you have a boyfriend. I'm assuming that's when he made that comment about all the single guys leaving.
Hopefully, otherwise I didn't do my hair well enough tonight. That works too. Yeah, I have not had a chance to meet him yet. So I've only seen him on Facebook, and I know he's also a physical education teacher and does a lot of cool stuff for his classes. I've seen him post and stuff. So cardio pickleball might be a good thing to try out sometime, around your area, Scott.
I feel like I need that because my cardio is very lacking. I played 2 games of singles pickleball last night, and it was skinny singles. It wasn't even full court singles, and I felt like dying afterwards. So yeah, I think I could use some cardio pickleball.
There you go.
We've got a couple comments here from Blair Cremines. And this is one thing I love about doing live podcasts. I feel like, Eddie, we don't even need to come up with questions anymore. We can just go to Facebook and they're doing the work for us.
Well, when you have an interesting guest like Kas on, right, that people probably have wanted to get to know you and ask you these questions, and it's so cool that now here's the ability to do it. So I agree with you, Webby.
Yeah.
Next time, we're not going to spend all that time putting together these questions and doing research.
Right.
We'll just let everybody ask them.
Yeah, screw doing research ahead of time and thinking of our own questions. Let's just show up and go to Facebook. But anyway, Blair said, "Hey Kas, I am an Onix rep and fan here in Michigan. What are your top 3 Onix paddles and why?"
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good question. So my number 1 right now is the Evoke Pro. The reason I like that one is the first paddle that when I was kind of trying out new paddles from Onix that I just fell in love with. I thought it was a good mix of control and power. For me, I'm pretty powerful. I generate a lot of power on my own, so I need a paddle that's maybe going to control the ball a little bit more, and I feel like it's the perfect mix of both. And so that would be my number 1. That's the one I play with the most. The Outbreak paddle that just came out is closing up on one of my number 1 paddles right now, but I would have to have it be second behind the Evoke. And that paddle has been great, especially with the Dura or the Franklin ball. Those balls are obviously a little bit harder, a little bit faster. And I've noticed with the Outbreak, the control piece is absolutely insane. I mean, I'm able to feel the fall on my paddle almost, half a second longer. And for third shots and dinking, that's been great. And so that would be my number 2. And number 3, I'll be quite honest, I just joined the team, a few months ago, and those have been my 2 go-to paddles. The other ones that I have tried, and actually my very first paddle ever to play with was the Z5. So I'm going to go ahead and put that as number 3 because that was my very first paddle ever. So that's got to have a spot in my top 3 for Onix.
Nice.
Nice. Very nice.
Great
So you
question,
seem
too.
very knowledgeable about Onix paddles, and I see you're wearing an Onix shirt there. Do you have any kind of ties to Onix or something, or what's up with that?
Yes, I am a sponsored pro player for Onix, so that might help a little bit. Yeah. So they are my brand that I love to represent, and hence the shirt and the paddles. I use a lot of them at my clinics, and I'm constantly setting up booths and things. And when I'm doing my clinics, I do a little bit of education on the paddles as well. So tend to do a lot of research and things like that for paddles and such. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, my very first good paddle, after playing with a wooden paddle for a while and decided to upgrade to a good paddle, was the Onix Z5, and I loved that paddle. That was a really good paddle.
Yeah. That was my first one as well, and I agree with you. I think when I started off in the game, I was so grateful for that paddle because it gave me the power, and it really helped me go from beginner to intermediate. I think that paddle was the perfect one for me at that time for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. I when I first started was all power. I had no idea. I actually started the wrong way. I had no idea what a third shot was, didn't know how to dink, and I just tried to outblast everybody. So that Z5, man, that did me wonders.
That's cool. So when you first started playing, like, can you talk about your first tournament? Which rating did you enter under? How did you do? Can you talk about that?
Sure. So my very first tournament was actually the Wisconsin Cup, and I entered middle of the pack at 3-5. I'm kind of beating a few people at my club, but the 4-0s and things just still have a little bit on me. So I'm gonna enter at 3-5 and check it out. And it was a round robin, which was awesome because I got to play a lot of games, and we ended up winning the 3-5. We won gold that day at Wisconsin Cup. Yeah, baby. So that was a great start to my tournament career. And obviously, when you win stuff, you love it even more. So my tournament addiction started my very first tournament. I was hooked. And we actually didn't play 3-5 after that. We went right to 4-0.
Wow.
And we played 4-0 that summer, and we won gold in all of our 4-0 tournaments for an entire summer. So that was obviously closing in on that addiction. I just fell in love with it even more. So that's kind of how I got started in tournaments. And so we did probably about 10 tournaments or so at 4-0. Then we did 2 tournaments at 4-5, and one was Iowa. It was on Iowa. That was our first 4-5, and we were lucky enough to win that as well. And then we went to the Gigi LeMaster Davison tournament in Arizona. That was our first big time tournament, or so we thought, at the 4-5 level. And we were lucky enough to get through that one as well and take gold. And then I got bumped up to 5-0, and then the winning, I don't get as lucky now with all the winning at this level, but it's been quite the journey, and it's a lot of fun. There's so many new players coming out, and everyone plays differently, and there's different styles, and there's a lot of strategy involved. So every day is a new day, every tournament's a new day. So I just got the itch, and I just love it so much.
Nice.
So
yeah. So speaking of tournaments, a question I like asking people lately is, How do you deal with pre-tournament jitters? Because that's something that I still struggle with quite a bit before tournaments. I've only done a handful of tournaments, and everyone I've done so far beforehand, I get crazy pre-tournament jitters. Do you have any suggestions of how to deal with
Bedwetting
them?
the night before, right, Webby? And,
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, I wish I could tell you it goes away, and maybe for some people it does, but I still get the same thing at every tournament. Something that has helped me a lot is I will actually work out before I go to the tournament. So I get up really early and I go to the gym and I do a lot of stretching and just like light walking, jogging, lower weights. I don't do anything crazy that would affect my muscles or my body before the tournament, but that kind of helps that anxiety calm down. I'm all about, if you can get your heart rate up and a workout in, that kind of calms the nerves a little bit. Then, right before we start the tournament, I just always make sure I have gum in my mouth. I'm a big believer of gum, having something to, just kind of redirect the nerves a little bit. But those two things seem to work pretty well for me.
oh, that's
Now
cool.
that you mention it, I do like whenever I have to do like a speech or give a presentation at work, I do find if I pop in some gum beforehand, it does help. So I should try that. That's a very good suggestion. And as well as working out beforehand, that makes a lot of sense. Get your heart rate going. That makes a lot of sense. And I might have to try that. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
What other advice? I feel like there's other advice that we had on the list here to be able to ask us. Oh, you had one, didn't you? Didn't you, Webby?
Yeah, I did. I can't think of it right now. So I'm sure we'll get to it at some point.
Serving?
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. So I've been struggling like the last 2 weeks, especially like my serving game. I don't know what happened. Like, I feel like I could go weeks, even months without a serve fault. But in the last 2 weeks, every single time I play rec play, I've been getting like at least 5 serve faults per day. And like, have you ever experienced that, or do you have any suggestions on like how to stop that? Because I feel like that is the most embarrassing thing. I've been playing for a year now, and I feel like I should not be messing up my serves.
So yes, I had this problem for like 6 months, and it was absolutely horrible. So it started in Rockford, the Rockford tournament actually last April, and we had a really big match against, Dave Weinbach and Stephanie Lane. And it was the first time that I had won against my teacher. So I was just absolutely, like, it was a whole other experience. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this just happened. I kind of just like almost, floated out of my body, but we still had the gold medal match to go. So we get into the gold medal match, and I was mentally drained or what was going on, but I missed a serve for like the first time probably like ever, just like uncontrollably, where, I've missed a serve before trying to, get an ace on someone or serving at a backhand or doing something funky. But this one was, I could not control my body, and it just like went into the opposite box, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So then, the next one I get in, and then the next time I serve again, I do the same thing. And I'm like, what is this? Like, this is embarrassing. I'm playing in the gold 5-0 medal match, and I can't even put my ball into this box, huge box, on the other side of the court. So a few weeks, we ended up, we actually got silver that day. I don't know if it was because of my serving, probably more so just because we were outplayed. And US Open was a couple weeks later, and I completely lost it. Like, I could not put a serve anywhere, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm at the US Open and I compete soon. Like, what am I gonna do? So this went on for quite a while, and until I realized that it's all in my head. Because I had people like, make sure your hips are facing here and your follow through does. And I'm like, I'm a physical education teacher. I know exactly how to serve and how to tell you how to serve. It has nothing to do with that. It's all up here. Yep. So my best advice for you, the thing that worked for me is I came up with a routine. So instead of coming right up to serve and going, you're going to miss this. Great. Don't miss your serve. Don't do this, all in my head. I would bounce the ball twice. And as I followed through my serve, I would exhale. So it would be bounce, bounce, as soon as I serve, and redirected my focus on the routine, stopped my brain from going, you're going to miss the serve again. Don't miss the serve. Because as soon as you're thinking about it, there goes your body. And the ball ends up on the court next to you.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. If you tell yourself not to do something, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So my biggest thing is don't think about it. As much as you think, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing, everyone's like, well, no one cares. No one is bothered by you missing your serve. If you've got a good partner, they're chill with it, because it's like, I'm not trying to do it. I'm trying to put this ball in the box. I just can't help myself. But yeah, so don't think about it. Come up with a different routine to redirect your brain. But that is definitely a struggle that I have been through.
Nice. Thank you. I'm learning a lot from KaSandra today. This is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Totally agree. It's funny. We're talking about serving a little bit, too. And this past weekend when I was at the South Florida Slam, I was playing against a couple of guys that I'm 99% sure were former tennis players just on the way that they played the game, right? And my serve is I like to have a deep, not really a lob, but a deep, higher serve that I am consistently good at, right? I don't try and go for the ace. Just at my level, I'm not consistent enough yet, but it's part of my strategy. And I had a guy come up to me and he said, what you can do, you can start doing pull-ups so you can get more strength in your serve. And so then I kind of thought, well, is that really what I should be going for? And so, I want your opinion on, remember, I'm a 3-0-3-5 player, right? I'm right at that border. Is that something I should focus on now, or am I still better off spending time on my dinks, my drives, and strategy and things like that?
For me, for the serve, my main goal is deep with a little bit of pace. So deep meaning at least in the second half of the court, preferably like the back third section. So as long as I'm getting it deep with a little bit of pace, I'm hoping to generate a weaker return. If a weaker return comes to me, that's going to make my third shot drop better. However, if I just loft my serve in there, the return is able to come back very fast with spin and everything that person can put on it, which makes my third shot harder. So for me, this is how I teach is, deep with some pace to try to, not get someone to send their best return to you so you can make your third shot a little bit better. So the thing with the push-ups, you got a weird face from me on that, is actually, in my opinion, the power comes from the lower half of your body. Mm-hmm. So I actually will take a step and rotate my hip. And as I make contact, I follow through and bring my hip with me on contact. That's where I generate my power. Because I see a lot of people will stand, straight, not taking that step, and it's all arm motion, and you don't get a lot of pace or power from that because I think it comes from your lower body. So
okay, no, that's great advice. I really appreciate that. It was weird.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So I want to change the pace a little bit here. This is our 30th podcast. This is a milestone episode. And for anybody that's listened to any of our previous episodes, we are big fans of giveaways. And I think now is a good time to do a little contest for a free moisture wicking Eddie and Webby t-shirt. Oh,
what?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Those?
And
yeah, baby.
And this is going to go to somebody that is watching live, because you got to comment live to win this, and somebody that's been paying attention. So if you were tuned in towards the beginning of the episode, the very first question that I asked KaSandra was, what is your favorite color? If the first person to tell us what the answer to that question was is going home with a brand new moisture wicking Eddie and Webby t-shirt.
Yeah.
So go ahead and
Come
If
on,
you were paying
Mom, you
attention,
should
go ahead
know
and
this.
give us your answer, and you got yourself a T-shirt. Oh yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll keep an eye on that. Oh, we've already got a winner. We've already got a winner here. It looks like, if I am correct here, let me see. It looks like Ross Cornolje. I'm probably butchering that name, but Ross K. Let's go with Ross K. I think it's Ross Cornolje is the first person I see that typed pink.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we'll go back and review the footage just to
Yeah.
make sure. We'll go back and review the footage just to make sure the time frame, but I think Ross is the winner. I don't know, man. There's two Facebook forums going. It's either Ross or Patty B. It's one of those two. Those two were definitely the first two. It was in separate Facebook rooms, though, so I might have to go back and review the footage. If it's inconclusive, just like in pickleball, I'm gonna have to give one to both of them because
You know what?
Ooh, yeah.
Why don't we just give them? Why don't we just give them to both of them? I think that'll be a good Christmas present for Patty B. So we'll get her one, and then we'll get Ross one. What do you say about that, Webby?
It sounds good. So we have our winners. So thank you to everybody that answered and were paying attention to the show. But Patty B and Ross K. Let's just go with Ross K for now. You two are winners of brand new Eddie and Webby T-shirts. So congratulations on that.
Nice. How many
And,
responses did you get?
I want to say like 1, maybe 2,000. It was pretty quick. I'm not sure. I might be off. I mean, maybe it wasn't that many, but it was a pretty good
There's
amount.
so many people on here. It's hard to tell.
So many people. There's so many people.
So many.
Like even though it looks like there's only like maybe 50 people watching, there was at least 1,000 responses to that question. But no. Actually, another thing I want to get to, if you were paying attention earlier in the show, we played a clip of Kenny Chou's around the post shot from Dink for Pink. So I think now might be a great time to go ahead and play the shot from my camera angle, because I have a conclusive, no doubt about it, angle of whether or not the around the post shot from the Dink for Pink match, if it was in or out, because based on the footage from Kenny Chou's camera angle, we couldn't tell for sure. Cass thinks it was in, or she said we had to go with the in call. A lot of people on Facebook thought it was out. A lot of people thought it was in. So, Eddie, I say we roll the footage from my camera angle.
You trickster.
Yeah, so as you can see, that's going to show conclusively whether it was in or out, but you're going to have to stay tuned to see the rest of that clip. So sorry, folks.
Nice.
Yeah, you just got to stay tuned to find out. I mean, I'm not just going to show you the answer right here and now. I mean, it's just not the right time. It's not the right time to say whether it was in or out. That's right.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of interesting, right? There's actually something that, Cass, that you and Webby have in common, and that is USAPA ambassadorship. So can you talk about that a little bit? Like, how long have you been an ambassador?
Sure. So actually, I was talking to him the other day. I need to update that, and because I think it's probably on there for Sauk City, Wisconsin now. So the reason, I wanted to be on there, it's probably been about 1.5 years, 2 years, is I wanted to be the main contact for anyone coming into our area in Wisconsin. If, you needed places to play, things like that, I kind of knew the schedules and could get people info, or if I didn't know the schedule, I knew how to find it. So just being able to spread the pickleball awareness and things like that for people in my area. That was my main concern for becoming an ambassador. So.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the main reason I became an ambassador is there is nowhere near me where people that work a full-time job can play consistently. It's always in the morning, or even if it's in the evening, it's usually done by like 7 or 8 o'clock. And for me, by the time I get to a location that's even going until 8 o'clock, it's there's an hour tops that I would get to play, and it's almost not worth it. So it's to me, I wanted to spread the word, get more people playing, and get some places set up that have evening play for people that work. So I am happy to say I helped get the local rec center near where I live. We every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. we've got open pickleball, and as long as enough people show up, we'll be able to get more evenings, and we'll probably add some mornings to that location, some weekends. So we've had an awesome response so far, and the place has been very, very responsive. It's the Hype Rec Center in the city of Wayne, Michigan. They've been awesome at letting us go there, and we've got a lot of great plans to build it up there. So it's been great there. But I do have a question for you. Like for you, like what does it mean to be a USAPA ambassador? Like if somebody asks you, because I get that question all the time, they're like, "Oh, you're a USAPA ambassador. That's cool. What is that? What do you do?" It's mainly people that like aren't really familiar with pickleball. So, like, what do you tell people that ask you, like, what is a USAPA ambassador?
So what I like about being an ambassador is I'm on the email list of like frequently asked questions, or you're getting questions from other ambassadors about tournaments, about rules or things like that. I don't know if you get that, if you've signed up for that email chain yet, or if you have access to that, but that for me is nice because I, open and click, and sometimes I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Or, this rule change, or people questioning, how do I do a round robin with, this many people, or we have this many courts and we're trying to do this event. So the email chain that's on there of the other ambassadors is a large reason, just to get my knowledge base up of anything pickleball. That's a big deal to me. And then, like I said, just being a main contact for my area to be able to tell people where to go or where to play, or if you're out of town and they contact me, I just like to be able to share where our play is and things like that. So I guess those are the two main reasons for me to be an ambassador,
Yeah, definitely. And I like shortly after becoming an ambassador, I started getting numerous emails because a lot of people knew that I became an ambassador. And before I became an ambassador, I did tons of research because I wanted to find out everywhere near me that had open pickleball. So I've gotten a lot of questions from people saying like, "Hey, I live in this area. Do you know where I could play pickleball?" And it's been pretty awesome to be able to just shoot an email right back like, "Hey, yeah, I recommend this place because they have it near you from this time or whatever. Or if you prefer playing on weekends, you can go here," and stuff like that. It's not near me, but it will probably help you out and stuff like that. So I've loved it. I've loved every minute of being an ambassador, and I've got big plans of trying to grow it in the area near me. So it's been very cool, and yeah, I like it a lot. And I do want to go back to Facebook here. I've kind of neglected. There's been a lot of comments coming through. Here's let's see here. There's a lot of responses with the color, so I'm going to scroll up above the color question. So Ian
They're probably
Moss
just
says,
guessing.
"Hi guys."
I'm a girl, so I like pink.
Yeah. There were a couple random guesses. I saw a black in there, a brown. But here's a couple of messages from Ian Moss. He says, "Hi guys, is that the woman who played with Weinbach in the tournament this past year and won gold? I can't remember which one it was, but if it is, she played fantastic."
So I do get the chance to play with Dave a lot, which is a lot of fun. And we did win gold at Chicken and Pickle, which was at Kansas City, at that facility that has a restaurant, bar, and 4 outdoor pickleball courts and 4 indoors. So that was one of the first tournaments I played with him actually last year, and we won gold. So we tried it again this year, and we were able to squeak through and win gold again. So if that's the one you're talking about, I think that would be me.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Ian also says, "What up, Web? Representing the D. Love it, man." That's right. Nice. Representing the D. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been to Chicken and Pickle, you should definitely check it out. They just opened a new one in Wichita. I don't think the bar restaurant is open yet,
Oh,
but
nice.
they opened the courts to people. So it's one of my favorite venues, one of my favorite tournaments. So that would be one to put on your list for 2019. So
Definitely on the list for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I would love to check that out. We follow them on Instagram, and I've heard a lot of great things. I would love to check them out this year or this upcoming year.
Yeah. Anything
Andrew
else going on
Trumbo
Facebook,
says,
Dave?
"Hey boys." Andrew Trumbo says, "Hey boys and Cass." What's up, Andrew?
Hey, Andrew. What's up, man?
hi, Andrew.
This one's kind of funny. Colin Smith says, "Have her talk about players she loves and hates.
Ooh.
Who's a biatch and who's a jerk?"
my.
So
Yeah.
we could probably bypass that one, but I do
Oh.
think it's funny. I mean, if you wanna answer it, go for it. But I totally understand if you don't want to.
Yeah, I don't hate anybody, which is probably not the answer that you want, but some of my favorite people, I guess to watch or play with, Dave is a lot of fun. He's he's a character. Some of the things we say to each other, on the court, if we had our own TV show, I think people would watch it because it can be pretty funny. So, and then Jared Smith is my boyfriend. He's also a 5-0 player, so he's one of my favorite players to hang out and play with. And Matt and Lucy, I love watching them. And I just saw today that they are also Team Onix. So, congrats to you guys. They're just absolutely fantastic players, and they're really cool people. Not every player that's awesome is really cool too, but personality wise, they have it as well. They're very social, very fun people. So yeah,
That's cool.
kind of answers your question.
And I hate to say it, but I think Scott Lippitz might have been right, because as soon as you mentioned the word boyfriend, the amount of viewers dropped again. So I don't know. He might have been onto something.
Oh, that's funny. Nice. Anything else going on Facebook there, Webby?
Actually, yeah, there's quite a bit. Colin Smith also says, "KaSandra, I love your effort on the court. I've seen you dive several times on YouTube." That's pretty awesome. So you're a diver. You're a fan of the dive. Is that right?
Well, I'm not sure I'm a fan of the dive. However, I am a volleyball player, so my natural instinct is to not, to dive for the ball. I could just make it easier and just move my feet to the ball. However, it's a little more entertaining if you dive and make a shot, I suppose. But I am known for diving.
That's cool.
Nice. Well, I don't know if you're familiar with our segment that we call the PickleThug Life, but we recently had one. Eddie made one of myself. I made a pretty impressive dive shot in the PickleThug Life series.
Yeah.
Not to toot my own horn.
Right.
That was pretty cool. Real quick, Cass, speaking of diving, this past weekend at the South Florida Slam, I had met a woman, and she was a fan of the show, and I mentioned that you were going to be on the podcast this week, and she said, "Oh my God, I am her biggest fan. I love watching her play." And the reason she said she loved watching you play so much was because of how you'll do almost the splits on the court in order to be able to get the shots, and you'll get real low. And she's like, "I love that." She's like, "That's my style of play." So that was really cool to hear that. But is that what you're known for, is being able to get real low and do the splits and things like that?
Yeah, so I was taught to, stay all the way up at the line and lean in for a lot of my shots. So I do that. However, sometimes when I'm doing that, we're in a battle, I can't go forward because I would fall into the kitchen. So I will kneel back or kneel down to keep my balance. So yes, I do get low. I am known for that. And it's just I love play. I would rather attack a ball, that's slightly high than dink and put it back into place. That's just my style. So the farther I am leaning in, the more I can do that, but it requires a pretty low athletic stance to be able to get some of those balls. So
well, that's cool.
yeah.
We've got a couple questions here from Ted Bryson. He says, do you use the two-handed backhand? And if you do, why?
Good question.
Yeah.
So I don't come from tennis. Not saying if you don't come from tennis, you can't use the two-handed backhand. However, I would assume it's a little more comfortable if you're used to it transitioning from tennis. I actually have a different backhand. I actually hold my paddle for my backhand like this, and it's more of a punch shot. So I'm actually known for that. Don't tell anyone, but my backhand is actually better than my forehand. And so it's because of the way I hold my paddle. And I always hold it sideways instead of kind of, cocked to the side or diagonal. And I use it to push or punch the ball. So one hand for that.
Okay. That's cool.
All right. Ted has another question. He says, what do you say is your best pickleball asset? What is your go-to shot?
So my best pickleball asset will probably be the Ernie shot. So for those of you guys that don't know what the Ernie is, it's stepping outside of the court, and when someone dinks the ball over the net, you've actually stepped outside of the court, so you can attack and actually volley instead of letting the ball bounce. So I was lucky enough that the guys in my area in Wisconsin taught me how to do that and insisted that I do it constantly, because either I get the ball for that shot and I'm able to put it away, or they redirect the ball to my partner. Usually in mixed, it works really, really well. And because I'm the one getting picked on, and it kind of makes them think twice about hitting me every single ball, and it allows my mixed partner to get in the play. Not many females do it. So for me, when I do it, people are like very surprised by it. And it's kind of a shot where you're like, oh man, what do I do with that? Or where did you come from? So it's my favorite shot, and it's my go-to move. And that's my jam.
That's awesome. I love when people pull off a good Ernie. It's such a treat to see,
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right, so here is another question from Scott Lippitz. He says, let's get to the $1 million question. Did Lucy, in your honest opinion, take over the #1 female spot after her showing at Nationals? Ooh.
It would be pretty hard to deny her of that at this point when, I watched her play that week, and for her to, at the biggest tournament or supposed to be our biggest event in pickleball, sanctioned event, for her to win singles, to win women's doubles and mixed doubles, I'm not sure how you can, say that she's not the #1 female in the world at this point. So I think for a while, as she first started coming to the game, she was obviously naturally fabulous instantly. And, it was kind of, Simone kind of had the reins on her for a bit. And then, you saw her win some large events like TOC and US Open. And now she's won TOC, that she won mixed doubles there too. And now the showing at Nationals with the Triple Crown, she's awesome. I don't know how you could deny her of that, so I would have to say yes. I would think she squeaked into the #1 female spot. So
That's
good
great.
job, Lucy. Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, and Scott has another comment, and this is a little more on the controversial side. I don't know. Do we want to get into controversy on the Eddie and Webby show today, or what? I don't know. I say we do it. Eddie, I say you and I can answer this one. KaSandra, you can answer it if you want. You don't have to, but he said he would love to get our take on the Ansbury situation when she hit the overhead after a dead ball at Nationals. And I don't know. I'm sure most people are familiar with it. Maybe some people aren't. Do you have any opinions on that, Eddie?
I don't think that Sarah had any intention of any malintent with that shot. I don't know Sarah personally, but from what I have heard about her and what I have seen, that's not her style. I think that she did it purely out of frustration, which we've all had on the court. And I think it's very unfortunate. What I don't know is what the rules are around that. Is that a punishable offense according to the USAPA? What are the rules around it? I don't really know. So my take on it is I don't think she had any ill intent behind it. However, when something like that does happen, I do think it is the responsibility of whoever's running the tournament to ensure that whatever the rules are around it are followed. And if there aren't any rules that are specific about that type of situation right now, it's probably not a bad idea to at least get them down on paper so that there isn't really much of a controversy in the future. Can I say it any more politically correct than that? Like I feel like
right.
I feel like I just
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
What are you, running for office or something?
Right,
I'm going to give
seriously.
the honest answer. No, I'm just kidding. No, I agree with you 100%. Like do I think what she did was wrong? Yes, absolutely. Like she definitely shouldn't have done what she did. And I'm pretty sure if you ask her that like she regrets what she did, she wouldn't do it again if she could relive that moment. But I absolutely do not think that she meant to drill anybody in the face after that dead ball. She was upset with herself. She just instinctively swung the paddle, and I'm sure she assumed it was going to hit into the net. It didn't hit into the net, unfortunately. It hit somebody in the face. But I do not think it was intentional. But I totally agree with you. There should be some set rules if there aren't already. And just everybody should be aware of those rules. And if the rule book says that you're going to be ejected or whatever, then you have to abide by the tournament rules that are set. Whether those rules were set for that specific tournament, I don't know. And I feel like there might not have been because there's so much controversy about it. But yeah, I don't think it was intentional. Very unfortunate, like you said. And yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you guys. I actually was there in person when it happened. So I saw it live. And, it was Tyson had tried to, dig a ball out, and it ended up popping up, but landed on their side of the court. And, obviously that was game point. She kind of just, did one of these. I don't think it was malicious at all. It was kind of like, ooh, because when I saw it, in person, you kind of quickly see it. I thought it was right in the eye. So I was like, oh man, ouch. Because, then Simone, she's a badass,
Right.
For her to like, be hurt, you're kind of like, oh man, that must have really gotcha. And like I said, I don't think she did it maliciously. However, was it preventable? Yes. It didn't have to happen. But, there's things that happen and rules that come about. That's why there are rules. And not necessarily list something like this in the rule book. Like after the match, if you, hit your opponent with a ball or shoe or whatever it is,
Right.
It's not something you think about until it happens. So like you said, now it happened, throw something in the rule book along the lines of, if there's anything at all, even if you meant to or not, like here's what's going to happen, and I think after the fact now there has been some controversy about it that I would assume they would make up some type of rule and list that in there. But, definitely don't think it was malicious. I think it's over. We make a rule about it, and then we're done.
And we're done.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it seems like we're all in agreement. But thanks for all the comments, Scott. Thanks for drumming up some controversy here on the Eddie and Webby podcast.
Yeah.
We've got another comment here from Jim Coleman. He says, "How do you win the Eddie and Webby paddle?" I'm assuming he notices this paddle right here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It is a pretty sweet paddle, I'm not going to lie. And this is what I say about the paddle. I think it is time for another giveaway. And to get the paddle, you got to tune in to podcast number 100, and you'll get a chance to win the paddle. So there you go, Jim. Tune into podcast number 100, and you'll find out how to win.
Yeah. Only 70 more. You can win.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll.
You can wait,
It's going to happen in a heartbeat.
Come on,
Yeah.
Jim. Quit being so impatient. Jeez. That's cool.
Right?
What else you got, Webby?
Michelle Cook says hello, and I'm a little behind on her comments, but she said, "I do too, ninja style." So probably referring back to
That's
something you were talking
getting low.
about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
said, she
hi,
also said
Michelle.
punch volley. She said punch volley.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Colin Smith, very interactive today, says, "If your life depended on someone making a third shot into the kitchen, who would you pick?"
Ooh.
I gotta go with Dave Weinbach. I'm probably a little biased because, he's a good friend and I play a lot of tournaments with him. But my goodness, that third shot, if you were to watch the third shot from the actual net, so if the net was here and you were sitting behind the net, you can see it looks high, and once it reaches that apex, it just drops. So there's so many times where he will actually hit his third shot and I'm his opponent towards my side of the net, and I'm like, oh baby, I'm gonna drill it. I'm like, I'm gonna rip this thing, and it falls and spins down, and once it hits, it takes a digger, one way or the other. So he, in my opinion, has one of the best third shots in the country. So that's who I would choose for the
cool.
third shot throwdown. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So Eddie, I think you're going to appreciate this moment. Blair Kermeans pointed out something that I think I need to correct myself about.
Finally.
Said, I believe I said that the ball hit somebody in the face after Sarah hit the ball. Blair said, "I think the ball hit Simone in the head or the hat, not the face." And I do believe that is correct. I think I saw a slow motion replay that somebody posted, and I believe it was more like up here and not like here, if I'm not mistaken. So I do think I was incorrect in saying the face. So thank you, Blair, for pointing that out.
Gosh, how could you do such a thing, man?
I know.
I thought you were a professional, Webby.
Fun.
Yeah, I guess.
Clean it up.
I'm not as professional as I thought I was. So
we make that joke,
Blair,
Cass,
Get your
because
life
how
together.
unprofessional I am.
yeah, because I screw up all the time and I say the wrong things, and Webby loves to point it out, and he has such a professional background and all this stuff, and so he rarely screws up. So every opportunity he does, I'm like, yeah, we got to capitalize on that.
Yeah, dude, you got to write this one down. You got to get after him.
I'm never gonna forget it.
It'll never happen again. Never.
Yeah, never.
So we've got a comment here from Kenny Chou. He is the one that posted the video, the Around the Post video that we've been talking about throughout the episode. He said, "Do you see serving in pickleball evolving as much as it has in volleyball since the 40s, or has the potential been tapped by servers like Tyson and Ben?" So will it evolve?
That's a good one. I really like that question. I think like any sport, things can evolve. So I hate to say it's been tapped, that's it, we're done. With our, top two, male singles players having the, fantastic serve that they have and set up. But I do think that, working on your serve and working and trying to better your serve all the time, like I said, sets up that weaker or, less deep or less spin return to allow your third shot to get better. So I don't think, I would never say a sport reached its peak, but they are pretty darn close. So if you're serving anything like Tyson or Ben, I think you're doing all right. So, but they're pretty close to that potential of kind of here's the bar. But that's my opinion.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Very interesting.
Nice. Michelle Cook says, Webby, my parents live in Westland. I lived in the area for 10 years. Where do I play when I come visit? That's a great question. And I helped set up a program at the Hype Rec Center in Wayne, Michigan. That's Wednesday evenings from 7 to 9 p.m. A couple other good places that aren't too far are the Romulus Athletic Center. That's only about 10 minutes from here. They only do mornings. Usually it's from 9 to 12. Currently, I think it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And then they also do 8 to 10 a.m. on Saturdays. And then another place that's not too far is the Northville Community Center. I believe they have it during the week, but I usually go on the weekends when I can get out there. And they have Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. and Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. So those are the best areas if you are in the Westland area that I can recommend that aren't too far. So that was a great question for anybody in the Westland area.
Yeah.
And that's why he's an ambassador there. Nailed it.
Oh, thank you.
Nice job, Webby.
Scott Lippitz had another comment here. He said, when are we going to talk beer? And you must have tuned in late because we're all done, my friend. We already drank our beer. Our glasses are empty.
Yeah.
We got to that right away.
We should have grabbed
Come on,
two.
Scott, get it together.
We should have grabbed two. I do have a second one in the fridge. I wish the fridge was closer so I could reach it.
I'm from Wisconsin.
Oh, wait.
I have two.
Oh,
She's
showing
prepared.
us up.
Wisconsin
Yeah,
girl
she
is
is.
smart.
I love it. Way smarter than us.
Next time take the second one out of the fridge before the show.
Yeah. Facebook still going strong there, Webby?
Yeah, it actually is going pretty good. Here's somebody new. He goes by the name of Scott Lippitz. He has a comment here.
Oh man, we can't get rid of this guy.
He says, beer of choice after a gold ? Beer of choice after going 0-2 and home by 2. So I think Eddie and I are pretty are qualified to answer the latter question. So Cass, what about you? What's your beer of choice after winning gold? Because you probably have a lot more experience in that than we do.
Actually, beer is what I would choose if I won gold. And if it's around, it would be Spotted Cow, of course. If that's not around, Blue Moon's my second choice. And if I were to go 0-2 and out, we needed something a little bit stronger than beer. And I'm going to have to go with, either like a margarita or, hard alcohol, vodka, and some type of mixer just to, make it seem a little less like I didn't just go 0-2 and travel this far.
Okay.
Nice. What about you, Eddie? Do you have a gold medal? We do both have gold medals now. So what would you say is your favorite gold medal beer?
Hey.
After beer.
Yeah. So this situation just happened to me at the Florida State Championships a week and a half ago. Friday in men's doubles, we pulled gold. And when I got home from that, I'm pretty sure I had one of my, what was the beer we had when Avery Jenkins was on? The Prairie Bomb.
Oh, the Prairie Bomb. Yep.
Which it's an imperial stout, and it's just an amazing beer, Cass. I absolutely love it.
So good.
Yep. And then the next day,
try that one.
Yeah, it's if you ever do it, it's fantastic. So that was my gold medal beer. The next day, I did go 0-2 and home by 2, and that was actually when we had Ben Johns on the podcast that night. And I know exactly what I did. We went to a bar that's right by East Naples where the US Open is, and I had a High Lie. So High Lie for 0-2.
Nice.
and Prairie Bomb for gold medal. So, what about you, Webby?
Nice. Yeah, so actually I do specifically remember when I won my gold medal in the round robin tournament I did with the Wolverine Pickleball group. I came home and enjoyed a nice M43 from Old Nation Brewing. I love that
There you
beer.
go.
One of my favorites.
Great beer. Yep.
And then recently I played in the Heartland tournament and we lost every single game. And when I came home from that tournament, I enjoyed a nice breakfast stout from Founders Brewing.
Very nice. You almost had like
There you have it.
you almost had the opposite of me, Webby, where you had the stout when you lost and the New England IPA when you won. I had the stout when I won and the IPA when I lost.
Nice.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a great question. Thanks, Scott. Another great
I
question
like
from
that
Scott
one.
Lippett here.
Yeah.
He's just on a roll.
Yeah. Here's another question from Wendy Maddie. She said, ask KaSandra how Finley feels about all her traveling.
Ooh.
So I have a golden retriever, and he's 3 years old. His name's Finley. And I try to take him wherever I can. So if I'm driving and I can find, a host house or an Airbnb that allows dogs, I will try to take him with. Otherwise, I'm sure he's probably pretty sad when I'm gone. But with moving to Missouri, Jared has 3 dogs as well. And so he's got some friends now. So I think he'll be better. But when I'm gone, my mom and my grandma take pretty good care of him, so I'm pretty lucky to have some nice babysitters.
Oh, that's awesome. If we ever down in the Naples area, we have a 4.5-year-old golden retriever. Your dog is more than welcome to come stay with us. That would be awesome.
Yay! That would be great. They're awesome dogs. They're my absolute favorite. So
Yeah, they got nothing but love and energy. That's for sure.
it's very true. Very, very true.
That's awesome.
Michelle Cook has a couple more comments here. She said, I'm also an ambassador here in Southwest Ohio. So that's awesome. Another fellow ambassador. Very
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
And she said, I'll have the appropriate beer for the next live video. Very nice. She also says, when is the next show and who is the next guest? I loved listening to KaSandra. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
So we
thanks,
don't
Michelle.
have.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say we don't have the next date set. We do have the date set for the next episode, but it's gonna be a special and different episode. Do you think we should talk about it now, Eddie, or hold off on that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, 2018 has been a huge year for us. I mean, look at the amazing guests we've had, tonight included in that. So it's going to be an opportunity for us to kind of go back and revisit a lot of that. And it's just going to be Webby and me, right? I don't know how much I should share here, Webby. What are you saying? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should just come out and say it's going to be our year-end spectacular, our year in review, if you will. We're gonna highlight our favorite moments of the year. I think we should just come out and say it. I think it's going to be an awesome episode. I'm very excited about it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And when is that? Sunday the 30th, right? Is that when it's going to be?
It is, yep. Sunday, December 30th, right before the end of the year, right before the beginning of the new year.
That's right.
But I think I can go ahead and say who our next guest is going to be, though. What do you think about that? Should I reveal that, or should we hold off? I think
we should hold off on that one.
All right. Yeah. Let's just say it's going to be awesome. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be an awesome guest. I can't believe she agreed to be on. That's one clue. It's a she. And yeah, that's I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yep.
Michelle Cook also said yes on Blue Moon, so she really agreed with your suggestion there, Cass.
Yes, you gotta have the orange in it, the piece of orange.
Oh yeah, you can't. It's
not
even drinkable with that.
No,
not even drinkable.
It's not. Like I'm not. Where's the orange? What's happening here? They're like, we're out of orange. I'm like, oh, I need a new beer then.
Right, different beer then, please.
Yeah.
That's
and Scott Lippitz is a fan of the Highlight. I I always say
Yeah.
it wrong. Highlight. Gotta love Cigar City, Scott
Oh.
says. But I agree. I love that beer. That was one of my favorites that we reviewed this year. I think I love that beer.
It's in my top go-tos at the bars. If I can't find High Five on tap, I usually go for Highlight. So I like it. It's pretty hoppy though,
I'll have to
Cass.
try
I don't
that
know.
one.
You'll have to try it when you're down here, but
Okay.
it's pretty hoppy. So
Sure.
you know what? If you and I go out though, I'm pretty sure I could convert you into a hop head. Webby and I could absolutely show you
Just
the
a-
beers, and we could get you like in hops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I used to
I'm all about
absolutely
that.
hate. Yeah, I used to absolutely hate hoppy beers. Like people would say, "Oh, you got to try this beer. It's great." And I just thought it was bitter and horrible and putrid.
Yes.
But then I don't know what happened. But my taste just changed, and now my absolute favorite style of beer is IPA. I love a good hoppy beer now. So it's just like they say, it's an acquired taste, and like it just all of a sudden happens, and I'm hooked on it.
Yes.
Good to know there's room for me in the hoppy world.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. If I never would have thought I would have liked hoppy beers. Like if you asked me 5 or 6 years ago, like I hated hoppy beers, hated them with a passion, but now I love them.
Yep.
So
what
Eddie, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go to Middletown, Ohio, sometime. I keep hearing about Middletown, Ohio. Michelle Cook said, when I get you all here in Middletown, Ohio, we will go to Rolling Mill Brewing Company. So it sounds like they have great breweries. Sounds like they have a great pickleball scene going on there. So we're gonna have to go down there at some point.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's do it, man. What's the closest like big city, closest airport to there? Michelle, if you're out there, what's the closest airport? Because yeah, I think it'd be fun to meet up there. Didn't Scott Golden? He brought it up when he was on the episode going there, right?
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
And I could be mistaken. It might have been Michelle that called
Yeah.
out Scott and mentioned Middletown. So I do believe it was Michelle. If not, I apologize, but I think it may have been.
Have you been there, Cass?
No, I was just gonna say she does a lot of motion for her tournaments, and I've been dying to go there and meet her and do one of her events. But my schedule, like 2019, it seems absolutely insane. I'm about to say this, but I have already booked almost every weekend in 2019 through nationals. So
Wow.
her tournaments end up falling on one that I've already have booked. So I'm like, oh darn, so I'm like 2020, like when are you having that tournament so I can make sure I can get it down? And 'cause she's doing some great things out there. There's a lot of really fun events, and she does a lot of cool things, and so she's really put that area on the board for pickleball, and I've been dying to get to one of those tournaments. So if you guys can make it out, I thought maybe she just posted that one of them was going to be April 6th and 7th was a tournament that she was running, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
But yeah.
We got to check it out.
For sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, Cass, I feel like we've taken so much of your night here. Are there a couple more comments, Webby, we wanna hit up there with her?
I think we're good on the comments at the moment.
Okay.
What do you think, Cass? Do you wanna see the results of the around the post shot? Do you want to see the conclusive video results of whether it was in or out?
Dude, I've been dying to see this. Like, I can barely focus this entire time. So I'm going to need you to show me that video as soon as you can. Let's see the results.
Well, Eddie, if you're ready, I say roll it.
Roll it.
So here we go. Ultra slow motion. Little back and forth action, as you can see right there. We zoom in a little bit, and it is clearly at least an inch outside of the line. That ball is out, baby.
Yeah.
Shoot.
There we
I was
go.
wrong.
Conclusive evidence, man. So now
Yep.
all the theories can be put to bed, right?
Yep. All the theories can be put to bed. Kenny, I don't even know if you're still watching or not, but there it is. Yeah, it was out. So we, as I showed in the first video of Kenny's footage, my line of sight was not in the right spot at the time. I could not make the call. The people, our opposition, they thought it was in. We had to go with the call. We called it in. And I still think, I mean, it was the right call at that time, and at that time and moment, it was the right call because we didn't know. They thought it was in. You gotta call it in. But I am happy to say we ended up winning the match. Oh yeah, so it didn't even matter.
It was a good shot, regardless. Though that ATP like that,
Yeah,
when you're
definitely.
when your momentum is carrying you out to even get in an inch away, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, it was a very valiant attempt. So kudos for the attempt on the shot, and it was so close that, like, even with Kenny's shot, it was too close to tell, so couldn't say for sure that it was out. So,
Yep.
But that was fun. It was a fun little bit of controversy that Kenny stirred up there, and had a little bit of fun with that. Speaking of ATP shots, though, about 2 weeks ago, I got my very first ever ATP shot, and this past week. Oh, thank you. And I gotta say, I got addicted to it. The next time I played pickleball, I got 4 ATP shots in one rec play session.
Nice.
So I guess you could say I'm an ATP addict now.
They're fun when you hit them, aren't they?
Hey.
They really are.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's just, I don't know, all of a sudden it's like something clicked, and it's like I look for that moment. I look for that right moment. I can just tell when somebody's on the far end and they're like hitting it at that right angle. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a setup for an ATP. And however, I've kind of messed up some shots trying to force an ATP that wasn't even really an ATP opportunity because of it. But yeah. I don't care. I got 5 successful ATPs under my belt now. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Nice.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So I think there's another video we actually wanted to watch, and this is something we do, Kas, for our guests that play pickleball. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and roll it. Yes.
Oh, oh my gosh. No, I literally like busted out laughing. Not only because it's Scott Golden, because I was able to tag him. Probably wouldn't have been as funny if it was anybody else, but
yeah.
That was
yeah,
awesome.
Scott's actually the one that
you guys
sent
will
us.
Have to send me
Scott's
that.
actually the one that sent us.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, I love that clip. Yep, Scott's actually the one that sent us that clip, and thank you very much, Scott, for sending that.
Great.
That was classic. I love it.
Yeah, and he said that was the second time he got hit by you on that shot that night.
Well, because he likes the Ernie as well, so we're kind of like the battle of the Ernies, and if he gets one on me, it is just it's for the next 20 minutes he's talking about it. So I'm like, listen, I would rather either roast it into the net or roast you in the chest before I'm gonna let you get an Ernie on me. So you try that shot, you either hit him or you blast it out. So I got lucky on that one. I was able to tag him. So
it was awesome.
I promise I'm not evil. It's just Scott Golden, guys.
All is fair in love and pickleball, right?
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. I got to watch all that footage, because what I do is I get the footage and I find the most thug life moments that people do. And so I get to watch a lot of pickleball of our guests. And that was fun watching you guys play, because you usually a lot of the videos I watch of you, Kas, it's tournament. So it's very serious. It's very focused, right? It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
This was casual play. And I think there's such a cool element when watching pros play casually that you don't get when you watch tournament play. And I'm not saying that it's any less skilled. It's it's a different feel. It's more fun. It's more, kind of bouncing around. And it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. With obviously, you're at a tournament and, I have a brand that I'm representing and I feel I need to be more professional, when I'm out there in the public. However, when it's us playing rec, you'd be quite surprised. I, like to say I don't have a mouth of a sailor. However, in rec play, things get a little foul, a little crazy, and it's definitely way different than how you would see Kas at a tournament. So it's cool that you guys got to see that.
Yeah, actually, there was a point where you did. I didn't hear the words you said, but it was something where you look back at the camera and you're like, "Is it recording? Oh no!" And it was so funny because I knew that you definitely dropped something there.
I forget that he has the camera on sometimes, and his camera is so fantastic that it picks up everything. So here I am, I'm an angel and I don't swear, dropping an F-bomb, and I'm like, oh, he's like, Kas, what? The camera's on, and I'm like, well, I can't help myself when we're playing rec. I'm like, can you turn the volume off on that thing because it just shoots out? So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of comments about the ATP shot coming in. Michelle Cook said it was still a great ATP, just a tad off. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe, wasn't it Ross K that won the T-shirt earlier for for guessing the color? So actually, I believe Ross was actually one of the people on the opposing team during the ATP shot. He didn't hit the ATP, but I believe he was the partner of the person that did hit the ATP, and he said, I measured the court afterwards and it was 2 inches narrow. LOL.
That's awesome.
So actually it seems like the controversy continues. We might need to investigate the measurements of this court. If he's right, then it was a good shot, but based on the video evidence, it was out. Sorry to say, Ross.
Yep.
And
awesome.
Maggie Raminci, she was my partner during that play. She said the call and that point were true pickleball. We weren't sure at the time if it was out, so we had to call it in.
Yep.
If you don't know 100%, it's in. We can joke after the fact, but it's all for fun. And I agree with that 100%. I don't deny one bit the fact that we called it in and gave them the point. That was definitely the right call, and I don't oppose that one bit.
Yep. Great point.
Yep. Wendy Maddie wants to know, what is your cat's name? And this cat right here is Jack the cat. Say hello, Jack. Say hello to everybody.
Hey, Jack.
Why don't you say hi to everybody real quick.
Say hello.
Right,
Yeah,
he's in the mood. He's in the mood right now.
We're done.
That's awesome. Well, anything else going on Facebook there, Webby?
The only other thing is Blair really wants to know, how did you and Anthony do in Florida? He asked us earlier in the show. He's still waiting to find out the results.
All right. We'll definitely be getting to those soon.
Yeah.
But Kas, honestly, this was awesome having you on the show. It was such a pleasure to have you share your advice, your experience, and you're a really fun person. I could definitely see why a lot of people enjoy playing with you, and this was great. Really cool experience. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been watching, your podcast and the things that you guys have been doing in the past year, and I'm like, who are these guys? What is this? Beer and pickleball? Like they've got it down. And Andrea Koop actually had messaged me and told me about you guys and said, hey, would you be interested in, coming on the show with them? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like I've seen these guys. I want to meet them. I want to know what they're about. And so it's really cool that you guys have this going on. I think the viewers enjoy it. you guys are, you come up with great questions. You hold conversation very well, on a live feed. There's not a lot of stalling. You keep everything going. And I just think you guys, I can't wait to see what 2019 has in store for this podcast. It's going to be great. So.
Wow. Thank you. I
Awesome.
feel like I'm blushing right
thank
now.
you.
That was awesome.
Right. I know, me too. I gotta hide my face here. But no, thank you very much. I appreciate that more than you could possibly know. And we can't thank you enough for being on the show. This has been an awesome night, super fun. And just thank you very much for joining us.
No problem, guys. Anytime.
Yes. Is there anything you want to share how people can follow your adventures, or how can they get involved in what you got going on?
Sure. So I guess the thing that I would tell people is don't be afraid to reach out to me, whether it's a pickleball question or, anything, don't be afraid to message me and think that I'm going to think, who is this person? What's going on? I'm like an open book. So if you have questions or, you want to meet, or, I'm going somewhere, and, don't be afraid to come say hi to me and introduce yourself. I'm very personable and would love to meet anybody, that I'm going to an event with. So I'm on Facebook. So I think I'm in your guys' feed here for this live video. Otherwise, KaSandra Marie Pickleball, it's my page. So if you want to follow what I got going on, that's the best way to do it. Otherwise, I hope to meet most of you at some point at some tournament or event in 2019. So.
Yes. Big year. Super excited.
We definitely got to make that happen, and I look forward to it.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Kas. Hope you have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. Man, oh man, another awesome episode, another awesome guest. How do we keep doing this? How do we keep getting such awesome guests?
I don't know, man. I feel like there's maybe somebody out there who's like secretly paying all of them to come on. They're like, there's these two jokers out there that we feel bad for them, and we want good guests on their show. So
right.
Go on there. Like, yeah, it's just
right.
It's amazing, man. So grateful for everybody that's been on, and Kas was awesome. It's such a delight to have on the show. That was really cool.
Oh, for sure. And she mentioned Andrea Koop. Andrea is a huge friend and supporter of the show. We can't thank her enough because we've met so many great people as a result of people that Andrea has introduced us to. We've been part of so many great events in Grand Rapids because of stuff that Andrea has been part of. So yeah, thank you very much, Andrea, for everything that you've done for the show, for all the support for the show. We definitely can't thank you and everybody that's part of the Grand Rapids group out there. I mean, you guys have been huge supporters of ours, and we can't thank you guys enough. It's just, we love you guys.
Seriously, you guys are awesome. Wow, I don't even know where to go from there. I feel like we got a little bit more pickleball to talk about, and then that's the show, right?
Yeah. Michelle Cook actually has a couple more comments here on Facebook. She said, Eddie and Webby, how do you know each other? That's a great question for those that don't know.
Well, Webby and I we've been friends since high school. So since 1997, even though I just revealed how old we are by saying that, but we've been good friends for a long time. And then, we lived pretty close to each other up until about 4.5 years ago when I moved to Florida. And honestly, this podcast and this channel was really started as a way for him and I to just, have something consistent for us to kind of hang out and do friend things, even though we're 1,000 miles apart. So that's a great question.
Yeah, I feel like this YouTube channel and this podcast, I mean, we've spent more time together in the past year than we probably have the last 5 years combined.
Yep, for sure.
And it's been awesome. Wouldn't change a thing. It's been great.
Yes, totally agree.
Michelle also says, I love this. More, please. So that's awesome to hear. Cool. And we definitely plan on bringing a lot more content, especially in 2019. I feel like we're just getting started. We've got so much more coming your way, so definitely stay tuned.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So I say I think Blair has been patient enough. Eddie, how did you do in Florida with Anthony? For those that don't know.
So he's asking about last weekend or just a few days ago, which was the South Florida Slam sponsored by Gamma that was in Plantation, Florida. And I had a partner, Anthony, who actually asked a couple episodes ago through Facebook during a podcast if I'd play with him, but unfortunately I was busy. But about a week and a half ago, he reached out and was his partner that he did sign up with told him he broke his hand and wasn't going to be able to play. And so last minute, he's like, come on, man, we got to do this. So I ended up moving my schedule around and was able to play. And before I tell you how well I did, I just want to tell you, Anthony was an awesome partner. He is the most intense pickleball player I've ever played with or against. And the funny part is when you meet him outside of the courts, he's like a really nice guy, very easy to talk with, super chill. But the second that tournament starts, it's like pedal to the metal, full blast, and he doesn't stop until it's over. And I'm telling you, it was intense. And his style of play is very different than mine, right? I'm much more of a calm player or whatnot, and I think it worked. It really worked. He was the fire that kept it going because we had to muscle through a lot of these matches because some of the other teams were better than us when it comes to skill, and he was able to keep that skill going. And I think I was able to help us kind of slow it down, bring it to the net, and get into some of those long dinks. So we played off each other really well, and we kept each other going so well that we walked away with a silver medal. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And
Very nice.
Thank you. I gotta tell you, these are awesome. It's actually like a little beer. What are these called? Like a
stein,
a beer stein. Yeah, but it's also a bottle opener. You see right here, you can actually open a bottle.
Oh wow!
With it. So
I like that.
Yeah. So that was awesome.
I love when the medals that these places have are unique. Like there's a lot of them are a little on the generic side. So like our Beer City Open medals that we were given, the honorary gold medals, and then those, like I love when there's like a unique touch to them and the way that they look. So that's a pretty great medal right there.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that. Actually, I have a picture of the medal stand at the end of the night here. So there we are in the silver medal position. Had some really great matches with those guys. It was definitely a great experience. Webby, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I know we're going long, but there's a couple of things that I really want to talk about from the weekend as a whole, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, go for it.
So the whole experience of the South Florida Slam was nothing short of amazing. I show up there Friday night to play with my partner Anthony for the first time, and him and Kyle Yates and two other guys are playing together. So that was so cool. I got a chance to get a little footage of that. I'll be putting some videos together with it, but it was just cool.
Nice.
It was just, I walked up and there was Kyle playing with him, and Kyle was showing him a few things and playing some good matches. That was it. That was amazing. And then I got to meet who I now consider just a great friend. He was on the show before. You guys know him as Gizmo Hall. And let me tell you guys something. I know that people talk about Jay and say that he's a good guy. Man, he is one of the good ones. Just an absolute great guy. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the time that he spent hitting balls with me on Friday night, just coaching me, showing me some things. Just a wonderful guy. He live streamed a couple of our matches and gave commentary on it. First of all, we're 3.0 players. So to have somebody live stream us on the Pickleball Forum, it's unheard of. And I can understand that, right? I mean, I cringe when I watch myself play. I can't even imagine what a 4-5 player does, right? And he was giving commentary. He was giving advice on things that, we could work on as we were playing. Like, I still am blown away by the generosity of this man. He's just a great guy. He was so much fun to hang out with. I cannot wait to see what the future, holds for him. And I wanted to show a quick picture after the awards ceremony that Anthony and I were able to take with him here. He's one of the good ones, man. Just an incredible time. So, Jay, if you're out there listening, I appreciate it, man. Seriously, you're awesome. Such a cool
such a great guy. I still haven't met him in person yet, but I already consider him a great friend. We've had great conversations through Facebook Messenger. We have a lot in common, and he's just he is a very nice, genuine person. And the fact that he live streamed your matches was awesome. I was able to I watched all the matches that he live streamed of your guys, and it's so much more impactful and just intense when it's somebody that that's playing. And listening to his commentary, I learned stuff by watching you play, because you do a lot of the same things I do. We're the same skill level, so a lot of the mistakes that you made are things that I constantly do. And while you were playing, he was calling out the good stuff that you did, but then some of the things that you did wrong, he was saying, "Oh, if you just would have done this, it would have been right." Or it was just I want to go back and rewatch it just so I can learn a few more things. And I was telling you shortly after, I was like, "Man, you gotta rewatch the live stream that Gizmo did, because you'll definitely learn some things." And incredible, awesome, great guy, and just a very, very good guy.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely, man. That was awesome. So, anything new in the pickleball world for you, Webby, you want to talk about?
So really, I just got one thing I want to bring up. This past week, I was playing Rec Play in Romulus. Real good group of people that I play with pretty regularly. And one of the guys I play with, Dave, he brought his grandson. He's only 9 years old. And one of the last games that we played, I was on a team against him. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna take it easy on this kid. But after 2 volleys, I was like, I don't need to take it easy on this kid. He was good. He was only 9 years old. He was better than a lot of the adults that I've played with recently. Wow. And it was a really fun match. A lot of great back and forth volleys. My team ended up winning, but not by much. And then afterwards, I was like, I want to team up with this kid. And we just rotated. There wasn't a lot of people waiting around, because it was pretty much the end of the day for open rec play. We had time for one more match. So I wanted to just keep the same foursome going, but I wanted to be on the 9-year-old kids team. And we did really good together. I mean, it's pretty awesome. And I love the fact that the youth is getting a lot more involved in this sport. That's one of the things that I was hoping for, and I'm seeing a lot more evidence in that. And it's just awesome when you can play with somebody young, not even 10 years old, doing a great job. And another thing I want to bring up in regards to the youth is there's a YouTube channel that I've been a big fan of lately. The name of the channel, if you look up The Pickleball Kid, he's only at his channel for, I think, just a few months, but he's had some great content. He played in the juniors division at nationals. He put together a really good highlight video. He did he's got a series that he calls Pickleball Stereotypes that are hilarious. And his name is, I think it's Jackson Marsney, or I might be getting the name wrong, but first name is Jackson, but the name of the YouTube channel is The Pickleball Kid. And I definitely recommend looking that up. But it's awesome to see people so young. I think he's maybe 14 or something like that. Super passionate about pickleball, very talented at doing videos and stuff. And it's awesome to see that kind of stuff. I love the fact that it's getting more and more attention with the youth, which is great.
That's awesome. I can't wait to check out some of that stuff. The pickleball stereotypes sounds very intriguing to me.
They're funny. It's very well done. He's I feel like he's doing exactly what I would have been doing if we had access to good video equipment and if YouTube and the internet was more of a thing back when we were teenagers and stuff like that. He's doing exactly what I would have done, and he's doing a good job at it too.
Nice. That's awesome. Speaking of pickleball content, so I had a drive between Naples and Plantation twice last weekend. It's about an hour and 45 minutes one way. So what's that, like 6 hours in the car? And I binge listened to the Pickleball Kitchen podcast by Barrett Kinchelow, I believe is his name. And I got to tell you, man, that was good stuff. I actually really enjoyed his content. I kind of started at the end and started working backwards, which I know a lot of people do. And I was really impressed with it. He had a lot of very good technical knowledge, but he also talked about like pre-tournament routines, pre-tournament jitters. You know, he's very knowledgeable about different paddles that are coming out. So anybody out there, if you're looking for a good podcast that's a little bit more like the traditional podcast style, it's called the Pickleball Kitchen. Barrett Kinchelow, awesome guy, great content. He also does YouTube videos as well that I've seen a couple of. One of them is like how to beat a slammer, where he shows you how to do nice blocks. I just saw another one today about how to slam your serve real hard. So check him out. Another great content provider out there that's really helping to get, great content for pickleball. So we all win by promoting each other. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've only listened to a couple episodes, but yeah, I thought it was great, and I definitely plan on listening to the rest. It's definitely a great podcast to listen to.
Yep. Did we do Twitter comments, or did we completely miss Twitter comments?
Totally missed it. I was going to call it out earlier, and I was like, nah, I'm just going to let it slide. Don't want Eddie feeling bad about himself for messing up again, but...
What in the world? How did that happen? I mean, Twitter comments, we've done it the same time, 29 episodes in a row. How did that happen?
Well, I mean, I feel like you were probably like me, very excited to get to KaSandra, and I was totally fine with skipping Twitter to get to KaSandra because I was excited to talk to her, and I figured it was worth sacrificing the Twitter segment.
Well, should we do it?
I think we should do it. Why don't we close out the show? We normally open the show with Twitter. Right. Why don't we close out the show with Twitter today?
Nice.
So why don't I go ahead and pull up my cell phone here? Let me log into twitter.com. All right, I'm logged into twitter.com.
HTTP, thetwitter.com, right?
Yes. So let's go to the Twitter sphere, as I like to say. Here's one from Justin Timberwolf. At Eddie and Webby, the episode with Ben Johns was absolutely awesome. It was fun, entertaining, and very informative. By far, your best episode yet. Nice. Wow. Thank you, Justin. That's a good rave review. And yeah, I loved that episode. I thought it was a great one as well.
Yeah, Ben was an awesome guest. Really, really sharp kid, man. That's for sure.
Definitely. All right, let's go to another comment on Twitter here. Here's one from Pooey CK. I don't know why Eddie and Webby are even allowed to do a podcast about pickleball. It's obvious by watching their gameplay videos that neither of them are very good. Yikes. All right, that hurts a little bit. I mean, we never claimed we're good. We love pickleball, but we never said we're like really good at it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, Pooey.
Shut up, Pooey. But I mean, thanks for participating. Thanks for the comment. We always like the participation, no matter how it goes.
Yep.
Let's do one more Twitter comment here. Here's one from Jim Bob Ross. Ben Johns must be a big fan of doing charity work or something. I can't think of any other reason why he would appear on a podcast like the Eddie and Webby show. They probably only have like 7 viewers tops.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, I guess. I mean, actually, if I tally up who is watching on Facebook right now, he's actually right. There's like 7 people still. There's 7 people still watching right now, so he's kind of right. But
yeah,
I'm sure there's at least 1 million on YouTube right now. I'm just looking at Facebook.
We have 1 Twitch viewer, so that's good. And YouTube, I don't even know. Let's see here.
But you know what?
I don't know.
His tweet actually reminds me, we hit a huge milestone today. I can't believe we didn't get to this sooner, but we hit a major milestone. Or not, it didn't happen today, but recently we reached 200 subscribers. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 200 subs on YouTube, baby. Loving it. we're
Yeah,
gonna remember
they
this
always
day.
say. Yeah, they always say the first 200 is by far the hardest to get, and from here on out, it's easy street. So.
Yeah. It's just gonna go up like that. So, that's awesome. Really excited about that. What else we got today, Webby?
You know what? I think this is a great time to end the show.
Okay. Well, this was episode 30, which means there are 30 of you out there still listening right now, and we appreciate you guys. Webby and I are going to be together at the East Naples Winter Classic coming up at the end of January. If you guys are going to be around and you want to meet us, you want to interact, just let us know. We'll be there. We'll be getting great content, great footage. So we'd love to meet you guys. And you know what? Just like Kas said, if you see us walking around, come up, introduce yourselves. We'd love to talk with you, hear what you think about our content. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
that's all I got. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.